Hello and welcome to SAS Junior Maths. Today we are going to be looking at basic operations on directed numbers. But first thing first, before I proceed, let's look at what directed number is all about. But first we need to look at what we understand by the word integers. So what are integers? Integers are numbers that can either be positive or negative or zero on a number line. So what do we mean? So this is a number line and this is zero. So this side represents the negative numbers while here represents the positive numbers. And from zero, then from the left side of zero represents the negative numbers, and from the right side of zero rather represents the what? The positive numbers. So from here, since we've known that integers are numbers that constitute both the positive, the negative, and zero, then we can now proceed to what we understand by the word directed numbers. So directed numbers are numbers that have positive or negative in them. For example, we have plus 2, plus 7, minus 6, minus 8. All these are examples of directed numbers. So what do you understand by the word plus 2? Plus 2 is a combination of its size and its direction. So plus 2 means I am to go 2 times to the right. Minus 6 means that I am to go 6 times to the left. Plus 7 means I am to go 7 times to the right. And minus 8 means I'm to go 8 times to the left. So that is why they are called directed numbers. But however, if you find a number that is not attached with signs like 8, like 7, like 6, like 2, and so on, and it is not attached with signs, we can either call it absolute value, or you can call it undirected numbers. You can either call it undirected numbers or absolute values. So with this, let's dive in straight. So from here we are going to look at the basic operations on directed numbers. So let's look at addition and subtraction of directed numbers. So addition and subtraction of directed numbers. So we're going to be looking at the addition of directed numbers. How can we add directed numbers together? So for example, let's look at that of addition. So let's say we have plus 2 plus 3. The first thing we are to do is we are going to ignore the signs of plus 2 and plus 3. So for example now, plus 2, we are going to ignore the sign, so it becomes just 2, which means it becomes an absolute value. Then we're going to ignore the sign of plus 3. So when we ignore the sign of plus 3, it becomes 3 as an absolute value. Then the next thing we are going to do is we are going to look at the common sign. And the common sign here is positive, that is plus. So I will say plus. Then the next thing we are going to do is to add the absolute values together. So I will say 2 plus 3, and we have plus 5. That is how this can be done. So let's set another example again. So let's say we have plus 7 plus 3. The first step is this. We are going to ignore the signs. That is, a directed number, we are going to change it to an absolute value. So this plus 7, when we ignore the sign, it becomes 7. Plus 3, when the sign is ignored, it becomes 3. Then the next thing we are going to do is to pick the common signs. And the common signs here are positive and positive. So I will just pick one and add my absolute values together. That is these undirected numbers. Then we have plus 10. That is the answer for that. So let's say we have minus 7 plus minus 3. Minus 7 plus minus 3. What do we do? The first step, as usual, is to what? Ignore the signs. By ignoring the signs, we are going to change this from a directed number to an undirected number. So minus 7, by ignoring the signs, we have 7. Then minus 3, when we ignore the signs, we also have 3. Then the next step is to write the common sign. What is the common sign? The common sign here is minus. Then we add the absolute values or the undirected numbers together. So we have 7 plus 3 and we have minus 10. So let's pick another example on addition of directed numbers. So let's say we have minus 10 plus minus 7. The same applies too. So we have minus 10. When we change it or ignore the sign, it gives us 10. And this is minus 7. When we ignore the signs, it gives us 7. So what sign is common here? The common sign here is minus. Then I will write 10 plus 7. And I will have what? Minus 17. So that is for addition of directed numbers. So now that we are done with this, we are now going to move on to addition of numbers with different signs. Addition of numbers with different signs. So let's say we have plus 7 plus minus 3. Plus 7 plus minus 3. How do we solve that? The first step is this, the same style, is that we are going to ignore the sign. So plus 7 becomes 7, minus 3 becomes 3 when we ignore these signs and you change it to an undirected number or an absolute value. So after changing it to an undirected or absolute value, then the next thing we are going to look out for is the greater number, the sign on the greater number. So the sign on the greater number here is plus. Then I'll write plus. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to subtract these numbers. So I will have 7 minus 3 and my answer is going to give me plus 4. Let me take that again. When you are given questions, when you're asked to add with different signs, the first thing we need to do is to ignore these numbers as usual. Plus 7 becomes 7, the absolute value or the undirected number. Minus 3 becomes 3, which becomes what? Undirected number or absolute value. Now, the next thing is we are going to write the sign for the greater number, which is plus. Then I will subtract the rest. I will say 7 minus 3 and my answer is going to give me plus 4. Let's take another example. Let's say we have plus 12 plus minus 4. Or let's say, let me change it this way. Let's say minus 12 plus 4. Let's do it this way. The first step we are going to do is we are going to change this by ignoring its sign. Then this plus 4, we are also going to ignore its signs. Well, after ignoring the signs, the next thing we are going to do is to look for the greater number. And from what I have here, the greater number here is 12. Then the sign attached to this greater number is what I will write first. Then after writing the sign attached to it, then I subtract the what? The numbers here. So I will say minus, as that is 12 minus 4 is what? 8, and my answer is minus 8. Let me take that again. Minus 12, its absolute value is 12, plus 4, its absolute value is 4. Absolute value means undirected numbers or unsigned number. And let me just include this. Please take note that 0 is an unsigned number. 0 is an unsigned number. Unsigned here means that it is neither positive nor negative. It is neither positive nor negative. So now let's continue with this. So we have minus 12 plus into bracket plus 4, and we have minus 8 as our answer. So, and that goes on and on. So what now from here we are going to look at the subtraction of directed numbers. Subtraction of directed numbers. So let's look at an example here. So let's say we have plus let's say we have plus 9 minus plus 3, plus 9 minus plus 3. The first step is this. The number that you want to subtract from, in this case it is plus 3, you are going to change the sign to minus. So that is the first trick we are going to do. So we have plus 9 minus 3. What did I do? You know there's a positive sign here, just change it to negative. After changing it to negative, then we apply the addition law. And the addition law is plus 9 plus minus 3, just like the examples we've done previously. So from here, I will just, since I have plus 9 plus minus 3, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore the sign. So plus 9 will become 9, minus 3 becomes what? 3. And in this kind of situation, I'm going to look at the greater number here. The greater number is carrying a positive sign, and I'll write plus, open the bracket, and subtract the numbers in the bracket. So we have plus 6 as my answer. Then what happens? Let's cite another example again. Let's say we have plus 12 minus 3, plus 12 minus 3. Let's not forget we are dealing with subtraction of directed numbers. So what happens if we have plus 12 minus 3? The first thing we are going to do is to change the number that we are subtracting from. If it is positive, we change it to negative. If it is negative, we change it to positive. So we have plus 12 plus 3, plus 12 plus 3. Then the next step is we are going to apply the addition law here. So from here, the plus 12 is going to be 12, plus 3 will become 3. Then we are going to what? Pick the common sign, and the common sign here is positive. Then the next thing we are going to do is to what? Is to add the rest. So we have plus 15 is my answer, and so on and so forth. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the bell icon, and so that when I post new videos, you are going to be among the first set of people to get my new videos. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you soon in my next video. Thank you.